Hello fans! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will delve into the gripping developments awaiting us on Thursday, July 17th, as Port Charles grapples with life-altering choices, tense confrontations, and simmering family tensions that could reshape alliances and futures alike. Let's kick things off with Michael Corinthos, who's standing at a crossroads that could redefine his entire existence. In the latest previews, it's clear that Michael is weighing a monumental choice, whether to abandon his established life in Port Charles and chase after Sasha Gilmore, along with their newborn baby, Daisy, while bringing his older children along for the ride. This isn't just a whim, it's a heartfelt pull toward family unity in the wake of recent upheavals. Imagine the emotional whirlwind. Mitchell has always been the steadfast Quartermain heir, rooted in business dealings and family legacies. But now the lure of a fresh start with Sasha beckons like a distant horizon. On the brighter side, this move could be a triumph for his paternal instincts. By relocating, he'd ensure that his older kids, Amelia and Wiley, aren't torn away from their new sibling Daisy after the precious bonding time they've shared. Picture family outings in a quieter town, where Michael captures every giggle and first step of Daisy's growth, fostering unbreakable sibling bonds that might otherwise fade with distance. Moreover, it could shield Sasha from the relentless spotlight of Port Charles scandals, allowing her to nurture their child in peace, away from prying eyes and past traumas like the custody battles that have scarred their relationship. We've seen Michael evolve from a corporate shark to a devoted dad, and this path might finally let him prioritize love over legacy, perhaps even exploring new ventures in a serene setting, like starting a small family-oriented business that echoes his Quartermain roots, but on his own terms. Yet, the shadows loom large over this potential escape. Sasha's desire to remain incognito means Michael would have to uproot Amelia and Wiley from their familiar world, their schools, friends, and the sprawling Quartermain mansion that's been their playground. Inventing a new life off the grid could isolate them entirely, severing ties with grandparents like Carly and Sonny, who have been pillars of support despite the family feuds. No more holiday gatherings or casual visits. Instead, a veil of secrecy that might breed resentment or confusion in the children. And let's not forget the looming visitation hearing tied to Willow's custody disputes. Mitchell's abrupt departure could paint him as unreliable or evasive in the eyes of the court. If he skips town without addressing it, judges might view him as a flight risk, potentially tipping the scales against him and handing ammunition to opponents like Nina, who could spin this as abandonment. We've added a layer here by considering how Michael's business empire might suffer. Stepping away from ELQ could invite power grabs from rivals, leaving his professional legacy in tatters. This decision isn't black and white, it's a high-stakes gamble that tests Michael's growth, forcing him to balance heart and head in ways that could either heal old wounds or create fresh ones. Shifting gears to Jason Morgan, whose already tumultuous day spirals into even deeper complications, promising fireworks that fans won't want to miss. The spoilers tease a fraught exchange between Jason and the formidable Tracy Quartermain, whose sharp tongue and strategic mind are set to challenge his unyielding loyalty. Tracy, ever the protector of the Quartermain dynasty, approaches Jason with a pointed request, likely tied to her ongoing machinations against Sonny Corinthos. Remember, she's been pulling strings behind the scenes, blackmailing Nina Reeves into publicly denouncing Sonny just as the crucial Measure C vote approaches, aiming to dismantle his influence and safeguard her family's interests from any fallout. It's not hard to envision Tracy urging Jason to follow suit, perhaps by openly distancing himself from Sonny or even testifying against him to neutralize threats like potential mob entanglements that could drag the Quartermains into scandal. Drawing from Jason's storied past as Sonny's enforcer, this confrontation adds intrigue. Tracy might dangle incentives like financial security for Jason's sons or promises of a cleaner slate, inventing a scenario where she reveals hidden intel on old enemies to sway him. But Jason, with his code of honor forged in fire, is bound to bristle at this interference. His day, already laden with the weight of protecting loved ones amid Port Charles chaos, only intensifies as he navigates Tracy's demands. We can analyze this as a pivotal test of Jason's evolution. Gone are the days of blind obedience. Now, post his return from presumed death, he's more introspective, prioritizing his bond with Carly and the kids over outdated allegiances. Refusing Tracy could spark a rift within the Quartermain clan, perhaps leading to her rallying other family members against him. or even exposing secrets from Jason's shadowy history to pressure him further. On the flip side, if Jason hints at compliance, it might be a ruse to buy time, setting up explosive betrayals down the line. This encounter isn't just dialogue, it's a chess match that underscores themes of loyalty versus self-preservation, with Jason's stone-cold resolve likely leaving Tracy thwarted and plotting her next move. Fans should brace for the sparks, as this could ripple into broader storylines, like Jason seeking alliances with unexpected figures such as Drew to counter Tracy's influence. Finally, the spotlight turns to Curtis Ashford, who's in for an intense grilling that exposes the cracks in his personal world, blending family drama with raw emotion. Spoilers indicate Curtis finds himself stonewalled in a heated face-off with his aunt, Stella Henry, who isn't one to back down from uncovering truths. Stella, sensing the storm clouds over Curtis and Portia's marriage, confronts him head-on, demanding answers about the troubles Portia has vaguely alluded to in recent episodes. This beef stems from Stella feeling sidelined and uninformed, her protective instincts kicking in as she pushes for transparency in a family that's weathered everything from shootings to secrets. Curtis, however, clams up, refusing to divulge the gritty details, perhaps the lingering blackmail threats or deeper marital strains that have them teetering on the edge. Inventing a new element, we could see Stella drawing on her social work background to probe gently at first, sharing anecdotes from her own past heartaches to coax him out, only to escalate when met with resistance. This dynamic highlights Curtis's internal battle. As a private investigator turned club owner, he's used to controlling narratives, but family scrutiny pierces that armor. The tension builds to a boiling point in the promo, where Portia unleashes her fury, screaming and shattering an object in a moment of unbridled rage. What triggers this outburst? It could be Curtis delivering the final blow by suggesting a separation, their arguments over the blackmail escalating into irreparable damage, or even an unannounced visit from Drew Kane stirring up jealousy and old flames. Expanding on this, perhaps Portia discovers a hidden message or evidence of Curtis's doubts, pushing her to a cathartic release that shatters not just glass but the facade of their union. Analyzing deeper, this scene serves as a raw exploration of vulnerability in relationships. Portia's scream echoes the frustrations of many characters in Port Charles. From suppressed emotions to the toll of constant crises, it might foreshadow interventions, like Stella mediating a family therapy session, or even Portia seeking solace in unexpected places, such as confiding in Jordan, which could reignite old rivalries. We haven't seen the full storm yet. This could lead to revelations about paternity twists or buried resentments from Curtis's paralysis recovery, adding layers to their strife. As the episode unfolds, expect this family drama to pull at heartstrings, reminding viewers that in Port Charles, secrets don't stay buried for long, and confrontations often pave the way for healing or heartbreak. Next, we will explore the escalating turmoil surrounding Willow Tate's potential path to retribution against Drew Kane. A twist that could place her fiancé in grave danger as hidden truths bubble to the surface in Port Charles. Diving right into the heart of the drama, spoilers for ABC General Hospital hint at a storm brewing where Willow Tate could unleash a wave of vengeance upon Drew Kane, potentially endangering his very existence once she uncovers the deceitful layers of his character. The moment Willow grasps the full extent of Drew's manipulations, the fallout might arrive with lightning speed, far sooner than anyone anticipates. This isn't mere speculation, it's rooted in Willow's evolving mindset, shifting from passive acceptance to a more assertive, albeit volatile, stance. Imagine the shockwaves rippling through their relationship. Drew, who has positioned himself as her rock amid chaos, might suddenly find himself targeted by the very person he thought he controlled. We've invented a fresh angle here. Perhaps Willow stumbles upon incriminating evidence during a routine visit to Drew's office, like a forgotten email chain exposing his betrayals, accelerating her awakening. Analyzing this section, Willow's journey mirrors classic soap opera arcs where betrayed lovers transform into formidable adversaries, drawing parallels to past characters who've turned fury into calculated strikes. Her cult-influenced past, which once made her susceptible to influence, now fuels a darker resolve, setting the stage for repercussions that could involve legal entanglements or even physical confrontations, all while keeping the focus on how Drew's facade crumbles under scrutiny. Examining their dynamic more closely, Willow has often appeared as the more submissive partner in her liaison with Drew. a trait that's deeply tied to her harrowing upbringing in the Dawn of Day cult, where blind obedience was ingrained from an early age. Drew has masterfully exploited this vulnerability, dedicating countless hours to steering her away from clarity and toward his own agendas. But cracks are forming as Willow starts asserting her independence, even if her decisions veer into disastrous territory. Following the heartbreaking loss of custody over her children, Amelia and Wiley, to Michael Corinthos, Willow's life has spiraled into a vortex of despair, marked by increasingly audacious and unpredictable behaviors. Take, for instance, the shocking revelation of her stalking little Daisy Gilmore, the innocent baby at the center of Sasha and Michael's world, coupled with her insidious gaslighting tactics aimed at Sasha Gilmore Corbin to undermine her stability. If Willow is willing to cross such moral lines against Sasha and Michael, former allies turned perceived enemies, what unimaginable acts might she direct at Drew when the rose-tinted veil of their romance inevitably lifts? Adding a new inventive element, picture Willow enlisting an unlikely accomplice, like a sympathetic nurse from her medical past, dig into Drew's history, uncovering breadcrumbs that amplify her growing suspicions. In this detailed breakdown, we see Willow's follower persona fracturing, her cult scars, once a weakness, now empower erratic choices that escalate the stakes, focusing on how this downward trajectory positions her as a wild card capable of upending Drew's carefully constructed life, from his political ambitions to his family ties. Delving deeper into Willow's capabilities, it's clear she possesses a latent talent for brewing chaos, which spells serious trouble for Drew and leaves him teetering on the edge of ruin. He's been concealing a trove of disturbing secrets, chief among them his clandestine and repeated trysts with Nina Reeves, all while maintaining a facade of devotion to Willow. Viewers of General Hospital have also been privy to Drew's cold-hearted manipulation of young Wiley Corinthos, twisting the child's trust to serve his schemes, alongside a litany of other deceptions that paint him as a master puppeteer. For example, he went so far as to bribe a staff member at the German clinic where Willow sought treatment, orchestrating it to falsely implicate Michael as the one barring her entry, thereby deepening her isolation and resentment. Willow's character arc is twisting in unforeseen directions, evolving from a gentle soul to someone harboring untapped darkness. So the unraveling of Drew's lies demands a response far grander than a simple parting of ways. Inventing an additional layer, perhaps Drew's secrets include a hidden financial scheme involving Quartermain funds, which Willow discovers through anonymous tips, intensifying her sense of betrayal. Analyzing this facet, Drew's precarious position underscores the theme of hidden sins catching up. His manipulations, once tools of control, now boomerang as Willow's capacity for trouble amplifies, centering on the peril he faces from a woman scorned, whose actions could range from public exposes to more sinister plots that threaten his safety and reputation in Port Charles. Beyond the basics of confrontation or separation, Willow's reaction to Drew's duplicity is poised to transcend a mere shouting match or breakup. She's clinging to him as her final anchor amid mental turmoil. But the shattering of that bond could ignite a powder keg of reprisal. In the end, Willow will confront the devastating truth that she sacrificed her marriage to Michael and her role as a mother for a manipulative fraud who's deceived her at every turn. This epiphany is destined to spark an intense backlash, possibly manifesting as a meticulously planned revenge plot that blindsides Drew entirely. Could she pose a genuine threat to his well-being? Might Drew end up in mortal danger once Willow peels back the layers of his falsehoods? ABC General Hospital spoilers indicate that Willow's downward spiral is set to intensify before any hint of redemption, paving the way for even more alarming twists that keep Drew on high alert. To expand with a creative invention, envision Willow forging forged documents that implicate Drew in corporate fraud, anonymously leaking them to the press to dismantle his congressional campaign, adding a political thriller edge to her vengeance. In this thorough exploration, the core idea revolves around the escalation beyond emotional fallout. Willow's potential for extreme measures highlights her transformation into a vengeful force, focusing on how this could endanger Drew's life, from orchestrated accidents to psychological warfare, ensuring the drama in Port Charles reaches fever pitch. Next, we will uncover the latest buzz surrounding former star Nicholas Chavez, whose recent setback in a high-profile film project has fans wondering if a triumphant return to Port Charles as Spencer Casadini might be on the horizon. Kicking off with the heartfelt farewell that still lingers in the minds of devoted viewers. Nicholas Chavez's exit from his beloved role as the charismatic and often scheming Spencer Casadini on ABC General Hospital left a void that's hard to fill. Enthusiasts of the long-running soap were utterly devastated, cherishing his nuanced portrayal that brought depth to Spencer's tangled family ties and romantic entanglements, making him a standout in the Casadini legacy. When Chavez stepped away to chase opportunities beyond the daytime drama, it was initially framed as a temporary hiatus, sparking hope for his eventual comeback amid the show's evolving storylines. However, that optimism faded when it became clear his departure was permanent, adding to a wave of notable exits that have reshaped the Port Charles landscape, including the departures of fan favorites like Kelly Monaco's Sam McCall and Chad Duell's Michael Corinthos. Inventing a fresh layer to this narrative, imagine Chavez's Spencer having left behind unresolved plot threads, such as a secret letter to Trina Robinson hinting at hidden treasures from the Casadini fortune, which could seamlessly pave the way for his re-entry. Focusing on the core sentiment, this shift not only broke hearts but highlighted Chavez's rising star power, as he pivoted to broader horizons like his compelling performance in the Netflix series Monsters, The Lie, and Eric Menendez story, where he embodied the complexities of Eric Menendez with raw intensity. This move showcased his versatility, drawing in new audiences while leaving GH loyalists yearning for more of his on-screen magic, perhaps even tying into crossover appeal for soap fans exploring true crime dramas. Delving into the fresh developments that have reignited speculation, recent reports reveal that Nicholas Chavez has encountered a professional hiccup with his involvement in the upcoming summer slasher flick I Know What You Did Last Summer, a reboot of the iconic 1990s thriller originally headlined by Jennifer Love Hewitt. At just 25 years old, Chavez was slated to appear alongside rising talent Lola Tung in what promised to be a thrilling addition to his post-GH resume. But alas, their contributions ended up discarded in the editing process. The duo had actually filmed a key sequence, infusing it with youthful energy that echoed the original's suspenseful vibe. Yet it was ultimately deemed incompatible with the film's overall tone and direction. To add a creative invention here, picture their cut scene involving a foggy coastal chase where Chavez's character uncovers a cryptic clue tied to the killer's identity, blending horror tropes with subtle nods to his soap opera roots, like a locket reminiscent of Spencer's family heirlooms. Director Jennifer Caton Robinson has openly discussed this decision, emphasizing that Chavez and Tung were set to anchor the movie's opening moments, creating an immediate hook for viewers. She praised their talents effusively, clarifying that the excision was purely a creative choice driven by narrative flow, not any shortcomings on their part. Both actors were adored on set, fostering a collaborative spirit that unfortunately didn't translate to the final cut. This unfortunate twist serves as a poignant reminder of the unpredictable nature of Hollywood, where even promising roles can vanish, leaving talents like Chavez to navigate the highs and lows of building a film career outside the structured world of daytime television. Exploring the broader implications of this setback, Chavez's removal from I Know What You Did Last Summer represents a missed opportunity that could have propelled his burgeoning film trajectory forward, especially given his candid admission of entering the project with little prior knowledge of its horror legacy. In a light-hearted anecdote, he revealed that his girlfriend insisted they binge-watch the original, turning it into a fun crash course that deepened his appreciation for the genre's thrills and chills. Now, with this scene relegated to the archives, questions arise about his next steps. Could this disappointment steer him back toward the familiar embrace of ABC General Hospital? While Chavez hasn't publicly addressed the possibility, his track record as a Daytime Emmy winner for Outstanding Younger Performer underscores his proven prowess in soap dynamics, where characters like Spencer often return from dramatic deaths or exiles with renewed vigor. Adding an inventive element, envision a hypothetical GH storyline where Spencer's survival from that fateful fall is revealed through a mysterious postcard from abroad, linking to Chavez's real-life adventures in projects like Monsters, perhaps even incorporating meta references to true crime elements. The core focus remains on how this film cut. While a setback doesn't dim his star, it might instead highlight the lure of returning to Port Charles, where fan demand could influence producers to reopen doors, especially amid the show's history of recasting and resurrecting beloved figures. Looking ahead to what lies in store for this talented actor, Nicholas Chavez's career continues to show promise despite the recent editing room snub, with exciting ventures on the docket that keep his momentum alive. He's attached to the intriguing project The Technique, a film currently wrapping up post-production and slated for release later this year. Though details about his specific role remain shrouded in mystery. Rumors swirl it could involve a high-stakes dramatic turn, building on his ability to portray layered anti-heroes. This follows his Netflix success, positioning him as a versatile performer capable of transitioning between intimate soap scenes and broader cinematic scopes. Yet, for GH aficionados, the enduring hope is that if Chavez ever feels the pull back to daytime drama, the opportunity will wait, perhaps revitalizing storylines involving the Casadini clan or Spencer's unresolved romance with Trina. Inventing a new detail, suppose The Technique explores themes of identity and deception, mirroring Spencer's manipulative past, which could subconsciously draw Chavez toward reprising the role with fresh insights gained from his hiatus. Centering on the main ideas, his flourishing path outside GH is evident, but the soap world's open-door policy offers a safety net, prompting fans to ponder whether he'd thrive more in Hollywood's unpredictability or the steady rhythm of Port Charles' intrigue. In wrapping up this dive into Nicholas Chavez's journey, GH followers are left with tantalizing what-ifs. Would you cheer for his comeback as the irrepressible Spencer Casadini, injecting new life into familial rivalries and youthful romances? Or do you believe he's destined for bigger screens, carving out a unique niche in films and series? Share your views in the comments, and stay tuned for more updates on all things General Hospital.